Welcome back. Welcome back to the show, the Peregrine Flight Pod. I'm your host, Mr. Peregrine. And if you're here, it means something inside you is waking up. Something is stirring and saying, there's more for me. I just had to find the strength to go after it. And today, we are going to get into something deep and absolutely essential: purpose. Not hype, not hustle, not chasing trends, but that real, unshakable why behind everything that you do. Why motivation is not enough. So let's be honest, you're not always going to feel motivated. Nah. There are going to be days where you're tired, you're discouraged, you're overwhelmed, or just wondering like, what's the point? What's the point in all this? And if you're all depending on motivation, eventually you will quit. But purpose keeps you going when motivation is gone. It's what gets you out of the bed when nobody's watching. It's what pushes you through the hard days. It's what makes you sacrifice, what's worth it. So what is purpose really? What is purpose? Purpose isn't just a job. It's not something that fancy you to find written on a billboard or printed on a business card or something. But it's something deeper, it's the why behind what. Why do you show up for your people? Why do you care about what you care about? Whatever it is that you care about, why do you care about what you care about? And why that one issue hit your heart harder than others? Like boom. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it takes silence, reflection, pain to actually uncover. But trust me, man. Trust me. It's there. It's there. Even if it's buried, we all have problems, man. Here's a quick story. The fire that wakes you up. So I remember talking to a friend once who was completely burned out. Like, that guy had a decent job, a nice apartment, from the outside, things looked just fine. But he felt empty, like he was just floating, until one day he decided, hey, let me go volunteer at this place in the city, and something lifted up in him. It just wasn't about money, but it wasn't about money, it wasn't about flashy things, but whatever it is mattered to him. So fast forward, he started a mentorship program. He found a reason, he found his purpose. And then suddenly the exhaustion faded, not because life got easier, but because he finally had something worth fighting for. Passion. Here's the truth bomb. Passion also fades, Passion fades, but purpose fuels. You might be passionate about music, about art, speaking, as teachers, we teach. But purpose is why you use those gifts. You don't need to be on fire every day, like, hey, I'm grinding every day. No. You just need a reason to stay in the game. Even when it's hard, because it does get hard, and life, especially when it gets hard. But then how do you find your purpose if you feel lost as a person, as a young person? So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't even know what my purpose is, good. That means you're actually thinking. But here are a few ways to dig this up. Number one, what breaks your heart? What injustice or issue or situation that makes you angry or a bit emotional, That might be the cue. Number two, what brings you to life? When do you feel the most you, like the most present, like most lit up, you know? Number 3, who do you want to help? Purpose almost always involves people. Angazi ukanjani, why? But even if it's just one person, it always involves people. Number 4, what a pain that you've survived. You know, often purpose is found in places where we've healed most of the time. The purpose isn't the platform. So here's a reminder. You don't need a big platform to live with purpose. You don't need to have millions of followers. We don't have them. You don't need a stage, you know? You don't even need people clapping for you. No. You just need to show up with intentions. This was a big one for me. At your job, show up with intentions. In your family, show up with intentions. In your daily choices, show up with intentions. Purpose isn't a destination, but it is a way of moving through life with meaning. That's joy right there. A journal prompt just for you and I. So tonight, I want you and I to take at least 10 minutes. Just sit with this. What would I still do even if nobody noticed because it matters to me? You know, let me just let that sit for a minute. Let that guide you. You know, you'd be surprised what shows up when you stop looking for validation and start listening to your own self. Listen to your own gut. My final thought is keep going. Like I said, this is also my own reflection. This is also me speaking to myself in the mirror. Keep going. Even when it's quiet, because it does get quiet. Living with purpose doesn't mean that life will always be loud. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes you'll wonder even if it matters. But I promise you, the work that you do does matter. And that the heart that you're putting in does matter. And that the life that you're building, one intentional step at a time, is absolutely worth it. Don't quit on your purpose just because the road is hard, you know. Hard doesn't really mean wrong. Sometimes it just means real. Like I said, life hits hard. And it's all of us, you know, all of us. So again, thank you for spending this time with me on the wake up call. If this episode helped you in any way, I'd love for you to share it with somebody who might also need to hear this. And if you're still searching for your purpose, just don't give up. Don't give up. You don't have to have all the answers. Nobody does. Trust me. You just have to keep showing up. I'm your host, Mr. Peregrine, and this has been episode 2 of The Power of Purpose. I'm out.